Hey guys, it's Vince. Today in this video we're going to be discussing switches, and I know this topic has been covered at least 8 million times on YouTube. However, I wanted to discuss switches because I'm about to incorporate 3 new switch designs available to my store to give you guys a large variety of designs to choose to integrate into your system, because there's so many different designs and so many guys have more and more questions about what's the best switch to use for their application. So I just wanted to do this quick video to give you guys an idea of what we're basically dealing with. First type of switch you'll see here is a micro switch. Nothing special about this. This switch I've been offering in my kits now for virtually ever. For general use, it's excellent. Not much to say. It's got a spring steel trigger arm. It's got a couple thousandths play, which actually keeps the switch to activate smoothly. It's got the roller ball on the end that actually engages the axis, which also has a couple thousandths play to incorporate its movement smoothly. On the side of the unit for hookup, once again, she does support COM, which is your voltage in. I get asked that question a lot. Normally closed, normally open, of course, is for you to select as an end user how you want to wire the switch to be triggered. It does feature solder connectors. I get asked a lot, can I use quick connects? I see guys using quick connects. If you have a switch in your system, any accessory you hook up to a CNC, I'll say it again, any accessory you hook up to a CNC system should be soldered, if at all possible. I mean, I know there's certain applications that you don't always get that, but under best practice, soldering will reduce resistance. If you use quick connects on this switch and you're doing it on all the switches, what you're going to find is you're building up resistance in the system, and due to the fact that these are low voltage items, you're definitely going to see that over time in the system. It may not rear its ugly face when you depress the switch on the table as you're building your system. It'll usually do it when the system is put together and you're dealing with EMI, you're dealing with other resistance that's in the system, because most guys that use quick connects on these will also use quick connects throughout the system. Okay, guys, soldering is the best way to go when you're building fine electronics like these. If you're using switches like this, you're dealing with CNC systems, once again, soldering is the way to go. So again, we see here nothing special. 440 mounts integrated into the nylon case of the switch. These switches do not come with brackets, as it's virtually impossible to make a mounting bracket to fit every system. I've done it pretty much with the pro grade version of these switches that come pre-wired. I did incorporate a bracket with a stress relief, but overall it's very difficult to make a bracket to fit every system that's out there. There's a lot of different variables. So what I get questioned on all the time is, you know, I want a pro-grade switch that has high repeatability, something preferably metal, something that is easy to swap out. I understand that I have to solder the terminals, but I want something in the event that my business, you know, my machine crashes or whatever, I can swap a switch out, or it fails, I could swap it out in seconds. So that led me to this version of my next switch. This switch right here, I'll give you an idea. I mean, you can look here, we can look at this together, and you can see there's a huge difference here. Again, full nylon body, this is all metal, okay? This switch weighs about 3.5 ounces. Again, the only plastic on the unit is the actual insulation cover that goes over your terminals. You do have a rubber boot here. You do pierce the rubber boot to naturally access the wiring underneath. You can see that it does come with mounting hardware. I did that intentionally because, again, a lot of times guys will buy switches and think, oh God, I got to fabricate brackets now. These units come with the mounting brackets. You can see here that you have spaces for the mounting brackets, so that if we loosen the screws, you can see exactly what we did here. You can come over here and adjust for best position to engage the plunger into your axis. Okay, very basic design, super effective. Once again, shielded cable must be used for system integration. Okay, I had that put on the switches because I know for a fact I get questions on it all the time. You use shielded cable on any accessory incorporating into your CNC system. These are no different. These switches, without a doubt, are light years ahead of these as far as durability, repeatability. The plunger mechanism on these units are super, super smooth. Once again, plunger body is full metal. You don't have the roller, so once again, you're going to have that repeatability because this is all machined metal. And again, it's just overall a much more durable switch. It does comes with 8 32nd socket head cap screws for mounting them to your to actually mount them to the mounting bracket. So this is an all-inclusive switch for a DIY guy. I will still offer the traditional micro switch because everybody's budget is different, okay? And I know that certain guys are going to say, hey, you know what, that's way overkill for my system. I mean, just looking at the size of this unit, you can see. However, I will say this, when it comes to the repeatability, when it comes to more durability, there's just no way you can actually compare the two. This is totally different than this. Okay, this is what you'd find more in an Allen Bradley or a more of a Fanuc or a Siemens type system. These work excellent on bridge ports, plasma systems that are always moving. I mean, high rates of speed. These are the kind of switches you want. And this, once again, is one variation of the switch I'll be offering. This is just the bare switch for the DIY guy who wants to wire it himself. This is the bare version. The next version of the same switch is one that I'm trying to take the guesswork out because, again, I'm trying to make this as simple a process as possible for my guys that want to incorporate these in their system and do it in record time. This switch comes pre-wired. I don't have the bracket mounted to this one. Of course, it would come with the unit, but what I'm doing here is I wanted just to show you this does come pre-wired in 22 gauge double shielded. This is my new 22 gauge double shielded, and on the other end you can see you've already got your ground drain hooked up, and we also have our two leads to actually wire these into whatever connector you'd like to do. You can also wire these into a terminal block on your chassis and actually make a subsystem of just your switches. You can see the ring connector that I chose to use, and of course this is soldered. This is not crimped, guys. This is the way it should be, and again, this is using silicone wire, which gives you the most flexibility you can have. To show you the leads, because I want to show you guys just how easy this switch is to service, you just pop the back cover off and then just slide your casing up, and you can see here that's exactly how the switch gets wired. Your terminals are simple screw lock. They do have lock washers on them, and again, your hot again is your COM. I get asked that a lot, just so you guys know. I'll reiterate that again. Your COM going in is voltage going in, normally open, normally closed, depending upon how you want to wire the switch. Swapping these switches out is as quick as you can undo the two screws. Just take the cover, put the new switch in, and you're good to go. Heat shrink was used all the way throughout. We insulated both terminals, and of course we made the wiring look correct as it should. So I'm going to go over here now. I'm just going to slide it back on, show you how easy this is. Just line everything up, and there you go. Done. Once again, real easy design, super easy to put on your system, and with the bracket mount, I mean, these are seconds to install for the guy that already has connectors or has an idea of how he wants to mount the switch. Now I have another version of the switch, because I know there are guys out there that want connectors on the switch in more or less a plug and play format, and that's what we got here. GX16 3-pin. Once again, you guys are more, if you've been watching my channel, you're real familiar with these type of connectors. They've got the screw lock washer, or I should say the screw lock nut. You just simply undo the nut. Once that's done, your female just unplugs. You've got the 3 terminals right there, you can see. The first terminal, of course, is your voltage in. The second terminal will go to your power supply's negative, and the third is your actual ground. Now, your panel mount is a 3-pin GX16 as well. That you just drill a hole inside your enclosure, connect them up just the way I said via the pins that I gave you, and you're all set. You don't have to worry about, you know, attaching a shield other than into your ground bar inside your enclosure where you actually mount the panel mount unit, and you're all set. I mean, these are pretty much done. I mean, that's pretty much what I get asked a lot about switches, like I said, and this is probably the easiest design, and especially when you're dealing with the bulletproof signal protection of double shielded cable. These are awesome. Super, super thin wire, super flexible, and it just makes working with them so much nicer. Another key point, these can use AC. Of course, they're rated to DC and AC. AC goes 3-phase. You got 0.79 amp. DC, you've got 0.14 amp at 220. These will basically work on every system, guys. I mean, these are, like I said, it's a whole new level of switch for those that want the best, I should say, because I mean, realistically, going from a snap switch that's made out of nylon, and again, conductors on them, they fluctuate all the time. Guys bump into these. You could accidentally bump into your table. I've had clients do that. This just, like I said, this is just a whole new level of switch. And again, there are systems that still can easily use the nylon switches. There's nothing wrong with them, but I do feel that it's time for another level of switch, and it does give you guys more of a choice. Wherever your budget is at this point, something that you can look at and say, okay, now I understand the difference between the two grades of switches. I get a lot of questions about the types of switch that have the adjustable roller bar on it. It's basically a roller. It's got screws that you can basically lock the nut and adjust where the roller interfaces with the axis. The thing to keep in mind with those guys, the more hardware your switch has, the more hardware you have to worry about getting loose when it's mounted to the chassis, because of course all of our chassis actually produce vibration. So that's why I tell you guys, be very conscious. You want switches with the least amount of moving parts that you have to service. That's the easiest way to look at it. If you have a lot of parts that, and anything especially that is yielding where the trigger arm is in conjunction to your chassis, that could be catastrophic if that gets loose, and I've seen it happen numerous times where it gets loose, and the looser it gets, it keeps varying your actual repeatability. So until the switch just doesn't make contact at all, then you either have a crash or you have another catastrophe. So that's why I'm saying, certain designs, you're much better off going with a one-piece switch. The less moving components that you have to worry about, the better off you are as you maintain your system. So again, I hope this has been informative. I hope you guys have a good outlook now on switches, regardless of which one you choose. But again, you guys have got a huge variety now to pick from, whether you're going DIY, whether you're going pre-wired, whether you want to go nylon, you've got that as well. So either way, if you do have any questions, you can message me at my personal email. It's storm, STORM 2313 at gmail.com, or you can message me on my eBay store, eDealers Direct. And again, I will put links in the description to my email, the store, and of course this switch design, this new switch design I'll be incorporated in the store. Thank you all for your support, my subscribers. I can't say enough thank you all. I love you guys. I'm going to keep doing this as long as I possibly can. I mean, I've been getting really busy, but I've got a couple new ideas that I want to discuss, and you know, anything I can do to help you guys save money in at least choosing the right components. I mean, there's no doubt you're going to have to pay in the end for quality. There's just, I mean, guys, it's like anything else in life. I can't lie to you. It's the truth. There's no way you're going to get a $30 controller and expect to, you know, have $100,000 results. It's just not going to happen, you know. But if we can make it reasonable and make it to where you guys have peace of mind when you purchase, I think that's something that offers that level of service that really makes everything worthwhile and make you understand that you're going to get what you pay for at the end, and that's really what matters. So again, thank you all. Take care.